All right, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to a new video. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate it for clicking on the video today. Today I'm going to be giving my final thoughts on Black Ops 7, the beta version that is, because the beta is officially over and I wanted to save my collective full thoughts until the beta was completely over. We got to, kind of feel out the whole game for what it was in the beta, and everyone was giving their thoughts and just so quick to make videos, right? Because the views are, popping right when the beta is out. But I wanted to give it a little time to digest, and now that the beta is officially over, I thought I would bring you guys my full thoughts about just about everything. If I did miss anything, definitely let me know down in the comments below. But before we get into it, over 81% of you guys who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you guys are new here, if you guys are returning and haven't subbed in the past, don't like what I said in a previous video, hear me out in this video. And if you guys do enjoy, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Obviously you don't have to, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. So this is gonna be a long one, guys. I don't exactly know. I'm guessing somewhere around 15 minutes, maybe a little shorter, maybe a little longer. I appreciate you guys if you stick around for the full thing. Grab some popcorn, grab a coffee, grab some tea, grab a snack, man, whatever your favorite snack is. Kick your feet up and let's just dive into it. So I'm gonna try to stick to a beta review, and what I mean by that is I don't want to talk about too many things that we haven't got our hands on, like the camos, the campaign, certain stuff with multiplayer, stuff that's been rumored. I don't really want to cover just because that's all up for speculation. For this video specifically, I want to stick to what we actually got to experience in the beta, if that makes sense. I do have some notes, so if you see me glancing to the side or down, that's what I'm looking at. So again, I just feel like it's only fair to judge what we had in the beta, as that's the only thing we were able to play for the past week. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the positives and then we'll get to the negatives at the end. Again, guys, I love Call of Duty. I think right now is probably the most controversial time in Call of Duty history, just as far as content clips. Everyone kind of bashing the game or loving the game. It's very like side versus side. Like you can't enjoy another game if you enjoy COD and this, that, and the other. So I know, talking about COD positively gets hate, talking about it negatively gets hate. Like, it's so weird. I've uploaded so many videos just talking about positive things because I like to try to keep things positive on the channel. I don't feel like negativity really gets you anywhere unless you're negative first, then it's okay to be negative. But okay, so with all that yapping out of the way, COD will never feel bad, right? It's the greatest arcade shooter to ever exist. Like, it's never going to feel bad. So I'm gonna try to not like judge so much of this beta that we had on like the honeymoon phase, right? Like, it's gonna feel good, it's gonna feel refined, and I think a COD can feel bad, but also I think the beta felt incredible, just as far as how the movement was, the gunplay, the maps. And again, we're gonna get into each of those things, but like, people say like, oh, it's just Black Ops 6.5, it's just a DLC. Well, those people like probably haven't played COD in a few years, and you would know that this game felt honestly nothing like BO6. The only thing that felt similar was the Omni movement, the side sliding, the back sliding, the slide into prone. So like, in my humble opinion, this game felt nothing like Black Ops 6. You can agree or disagree with me if you would like, that's fine. The movement, in my opinion, was perfect. It was perfect. It allowed for so much creativity, more than if you just had a jetpack, because with a jetpack you can just boost anywhere you want, you can side dash anywhere you want. Wall running was only limited to certain maps, and with the wall jumping in Black Ops 7, at least the beta, the maps, obviously they want to put in maps where you could really experiment and try things out with the wall jumping. So they had obvious points on certain maps, right, that were like, here you can wall jump to here. But the interesting part about this is, as the year goes on, as the year progresses, especially in competitive. I'm so excited to see how players and just all of us adapt to the different movement mechs and techs and specs that we can do all around the map. Like, there's going to be so much we can do, because it's not only limited to certain areas of the map. You can do it anywhere. Like, I was like wall jumping off of tanks and ladders and head glitches and everything on the map that you can, you know, not even mantle, just run into. You can basically wall jump. So it's going to lead to some crazy moments, some crazy clips. I just think it's four-dimensional, really. Like, it's more than anything we had in Black Ops 3, IW, Advanced Warfare, like the advanced movement games. In my opinion, it's a perfect like blend of what the casuals wanted and what the jetpackers wanted, right? At least for me. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe you have a different opinion on it, maybe you don't like it, maybe you like it a lot more than jetpacking, but for me, I'm a heavy jetpack hater. So I was like very skeptical about the movement in this game when it was like a wall jump, wall boost, jetpacking. We didn't really know what it was, and now that we do know what it was, I think it's balanced, especially for the beta. Whether they change that or not heading into the full release, only time will tell. But again, I thought it felt incredible. So moving on to the next thing, tech sprinting. Tech sprinting is finally gone, sort of. As you guys know, they removed tech sprinting by default in Black Ops 7. Guys, get rid of it. It felt so refreshing not running around like this with your weapon all the time, not running around like this. Like, I forgot completely how it felt to play COD without tech sprinting, and I recently actually went back to BO6 and I put Slipstream on just because I tried it out when it was first added into the game. I think like early on in season 1, season 2, and I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was a little brain rotted by tech sprinting. We've had tech sprinting for how many years now? The past since minus Cold War, we've had it since MW19. And I don't know, tech sprinting just like increase the base movement speed and just keep it how it was. I don't know why we were trying to model everything after what MW19 did with their tactical mil sim shooter, but like, I've had enough of tech sprinting. Like, it's just unnecessary. Just increase the base movement speed. It feels so much better. It plays so much better. I didn't see one single person in the beta running around with tech sprint, and I believe we could even access the perk in the beta. So that's a W. Maybe people forgot about it. I don't know. There's got to be some TikTok YY movement demons out there that want to have tech sprinting, but in my opinion, the game felt so refreshing and so fluid without tech sprint. So bravo, Treyarch, just remove the perk, and I think we're in for an incredible year. But moving on, give me a second, guys. I got to take a drink. Moving on into the audio and sound design. The audio in this game, I'm not talking about the footsteps. I'm talking about the announcer, the kill streak notifications. There was some weird stuff happening with kill streaks, but the overall audio and sound design of everything, I thought felt really good. It didn't feel like very similar like how we got like MW2 to MW3. That sound design in the game was pretty much the same, but I don't know, the sound was just reminding me of what it felt like in BO2, in BO3, in BO4, like that classic Treyarch futuristic announcements and just the medals and different things like that. Like, let me know if you guys experienced that as well, because it's one of the first things I noticed. And again, maybe this is just honeymoon phase and I'm just like coping because, you know, it's new. Oh my gosh, new Call of Duty. Like, I'm guilty of it, I'm not gonna lie, but I also feel like I'm realistic with myself. But again, we're all COD kids at the end of the day, bro. So moving on to map design. The map design, at least for the maps that we played in the beta, I honestly liked just about all of them. The only map I didn't really care for was Imprint, which was the snowy map. I thought it was too big. I thought it had like the awkward middle. B-Dom was like rotating down with the platform. That was a little awkward. Otherwise, I thought all the maps played pretty well. They each had their own unique like feeling and identity. It didn't feel like they were just taking a POI from Al Mazrah and putting it into MW2, or taking a piece from Urzikstan and just putting it in MW3. And, you know, we've seen that for how many years? They're just like Warzone POIs stripped away and put into multiplayer. Like, here you go. Like, I know we're getting remastered BO2 maps in Raid, Express, and Hijack, which I'm so excited to test the wall jumping out on those maps, but they finally, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but the maps we played were original, unique, and they played so well. And we got a lot of them. I mean, what we got? Toshin, Extraction, Cortex, Imprint. I think I'm forgetting like one or two, but again, I thought all the maps played really well for the modes that we had in the beta. So again, a W. Next up, we have visuals. The visuals were really easy to see. I don't know if that was just me. I had trouble seeing people on Black Ops 6 sometimes. Maybe that's just my age. I'm getting old. I need some glasses. I've been meaning to get my eyes checked for so long, but I didn't really have any problem seeing people. Maybe on Imprint a few times, but I thought the visuals were really good. Like, I love the aesthetic of the game, just the overall theme that they were going for. And again, we're going to get into it. Theme and identity were one of the biggest things heading into this year, biggest question marks. So again, I thought the visuals were really good. Weapons, from what we had in the beta, they were all good. Shotties, snipers, pistols, SMGs, the M8, the ARs. I thought they all were good. They were unique. They stuck to the aesthetic and theme that we're going for, 2035. You know, Black Ops 7, a little futuristic. I thought they all felt really good. Again, there's obviously going to be some weapon changes and balancing in the full release, but from what we had in the beta, it was good. Like, I have no complaints on that front. EMPs. I am such a fan of EMPs, especially for competitive. Not so much pubs, because I think with these games, I'm trying to think of like Cold War, the tactical meta all year outside of competitive for pubs, I'm saying was stim shot. This year with BO6, it was stim shot. MW3, I'm trying to think if people use stim in like MW3, I believe. MW2 wasn't so much. Vanguard, I guess some people use the stim, but like this past year with BO6, the way it played, the stim was just your best friend. It was so fast. You could omni movement away when you got hurt, stim up, it would recharge. And I just think that with EMPs coming back this year for both competitive and pubs, it's gonna make people realize that, hey, EMPs are pretty good. And I think they might last a little long in the beta. I don't remember exactly how long they last in BO2. That's what my mind goes to when I think of EMPs, but they lasted quite a long time in BO2. I want to say like upwards of like 15-20 seconds. So I don't know what exactly they last in the beta that we were playing the past week, but I love to see EMPs back. I can't even remember the last time we had like a true Treyarch EMP. Now the overclocks, I don't really know how to feel about the overclocks. I know I personally didn't really experiment with them in the beta, so if you guys did, definitely let me know. But I know there's going to be some OP overclocks for some of these lethals and tacticals, so again, we're going to have to see. Moving on to the kill streaks. The streaks were pretty good in this game. Maybe more rewarding. Rewarding is probably a better word than OP, but if you think back to all the OG CODs, I mean, the Harrier, the Chopper Gunner, the Pavelo from MW2, Attack Dogs in BO1, the SR-71 in BO1, MW3, we had the EMP, had like emergency airdrop. You had the Juggernaut in MW3. BO2, we had the Swarm, Dogs. Like, thinking about all of those games, and I'm like, okay, maybe like the streaks are fine, but I think the streaks that they showed us in the beta were really good. I mean, you had the Raps, you had the guy who was like running around, the big robot dude, like the Jug basically. You have the Grave Maker, I think, is the sniper that you can snipe through walls, which people didn't really like, but I think it's a 10 kill streak, I think it's fine to have as a 10 kill streak, but again, I was like, are the streaks OP? But then again, all the games that had OP streaks were the best public match games. So again, you're just getting rewarded for doing well. So I don't know. I think there could be some changes to them. But again, we're going to have to see how everything balances out when we get all of them. Moving on to the modes. When is the last time we saw a beta with zombies, search, and hardcore? It's never happened. I personally didn't play any search or zombies. I played a little hardcore just to pull some thumbnails, but again, the more the better. The more feedback. To me, this is, they just want feedback. And again, we know notoriously in the past few years, they've said, yeah, we hear your feedback, but we're not changing anything. So I'm not getting my hopes up too much, but it is nice to see that those communities, if you're a hardcore search player, if you're a hardcore zombies guy, like, it's nice to see that you were able to test out and give some feedback. Whether they follow through with the feedback that was given, it's another video. But I also really enjoyed the new overdrive mode. So overdrive is basically each team, the scoring goes to 8. I believe each team has 2 different zones on the map, and you have to score the overdrive or the ball. So it's kind of like a mixture between like Blitz, uplink, and CTF. I think this is going to be so fun to watch in comp though. So I really enjoyed it in a public match setting. Again, I always am a little weary on like new game modes. I personally think CTF is the best competitive mode that we had in Call of Duty. It's the most exhilarating, the most exciting when it's like 1-1 and it's OT. Like that, like flag pulling and just watching it. I'm thinking back to BO2 because everyone hates CTF, I feel like, especially in the competitive scene. So I think if they brought CTF to this game, it would play really well, just because the wall jumping, the dynamic of the maps. I would personally like to see CTF, but for now, overdrive for the third mode is definitely better than control. So moving on to the last few positives. Sorry guys, like I said, this is gonna end up being a 30-minute video, so if you guys are still here, if you're still with me, shout out you guys are real ones. The beta version of this game felt finished. I couldn't tell that it was a beta. The past few years, I think back to MW3 and BO6, playing those betas, I could definitely tell that they were beta versions of the game. The UI, some weapon balancing, just some different things that were broken. This game, I don't know guys, let me know what you guys think. I thought the game felt really good for a beta version of the game. If they stick to the theme and identity that they had in the beta, stick to this 2035, don't go too crazy with the skins. I know they're, you know, ramping up this season 1 and they're saying that it's going to be the biggest season 1 in COD history. Please stick to the aesthetic, the theme, and identity that you guys have shown us so far. You guys have shown us in the beta, because it's one of my favorite things about the game. It feels like a mixture of like BO2, BO3, BO4. I even get some like AW, IW in there. Like aesthetically, I'm saying, not like gameplay wise. Obviously, gameplay wise, it's similar to BO6. But again, I think it's like, I don't know, guys. Maybe it's just a honeymoon phase. But that's my last positive thing is aesthetic. The theme identity was just so good for the beta version of the game. So moving on to the negatives, I want to stay critical with this review because there's obviously things that Call of Duty has been lacking, and I'm gonna talk about some of the obvious ones, talk about some other things that I didn't really like for the beta. But the first thing is optimization. I've been on PC for the past, you know, handful of years, and the game is not optimized. And I know I'm not the only one that is experiencing this, because everyone that I was watching, pros, streamers, Scump, Zuma, they're all getting like 140 to 180 frames on certain maps, and these guys have the the top of the line PCs, spec'd out graphics card, CPU, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm maxing at like 60, 70 frames on some maps, certain areas of some maps, and I know it's an optimization thing because certain maps I get more, like, noticeably more frames, and I've seen like multiple people talking about this, so that's like a huge L for me because Black Ops 6 wasn't optimized all year. I don't know if you guys remember, like, I go back to Vanguard, to MW3, to MW2, and I consistently can pull like 130 to 150. And I don't have a crazy PC or anything like that, but this year with BO6 and at least what we played in the beta, I wasn't getting more than like 100 frames at max on like the best maps. So I don't really know what's going on with that, but I know I'm not the only one experiencing it. So I know it's like not my PC. Not that I don't need to update the PC, but it's like, guys, come on, let's optimize the game, please. So the next thing are the doors. The doors need to go. I get it, the automatic sliding, it fits in with the aesthetic of 2035, but please, we don't want doors. We don't want destructible environment. We don't want windows. Like, please take the doors out. I know they did already say that they're going to be able to toggle them on and off for competitive, which is good, but it just frightens me because for pubs, they're probably gonna be in the game the whole year. But again, the doors are huge L for me. Next up, we have the color palette. Specifically for the HUD, I was having a hard time like knowing when I had streaks. Maybe this was just because it was, you know, just a beta, but I do think the HUD could use some updating. Like the little bottom left where it shows your health, along with like the right where it shows like your weapon and your streaks and stuff like that. And then the mini map was just kind of awkward. It was a little buggy for search. Like, I don't know, the whole like color palette of the HUD, in my opinion, was just not good. Someone like compared this HUD to like a BO2 HUD, and I'm a big fan of less is more. So if we could update the HUD, maybe change the colors, make it a little easier to see, that would be good for me. Nothing like visually with the game, like your teammates and your enemies, like really bothered me, but just specifically for the HUD. So moving on to gunsmith. There's gonna be 800,000 attachments, and with all the weapon levels, the weapon prestige attachments, I'm not really looking forward to it. I hate how many attachments and how complex the gunsmith has been the past few years. Give us 2 attachments, you know, 50 total in the game, whatever it may be, and I think the experience overall is way better. And I think they're trying to balance it out by doing like, now you can have a code and just input the code and it'll give the exact build. But it's like the route that these developers have been going the past few years. I mean, we had weapon tuning in MW2, for Christ's sake. Like, what are we doing with that? And like moving from gunsmith into the prestige levels, I'm a little worried on how long this is going to take to level these weapons. We had double XP for the whole beta, and it didn't take too long, but 250 total weapon levels with 2 weapon prestiges in there. And are these prestige attachments just going to be OP? Like, what are these prestige attachments going to be? Like, are we going to have to grind through 250 levels? Like, the average person isn't going to be able to just hop on if the OP attachment is needed, like the damage barrel or the muzzle or the rear grip that gives you fast movement is locked behind 250 levels. Like, that's gonna be impossible to get. So like, I'm thinking that these prestige attachments are gonna be more like aftermarket parts in MW3. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But I think the whole, I don't know, right now it's an L. Depending on how long it takes and just how OP the attachments actually are, in my opinion, it's an L. So moving into the last 2 topics, probably the 2 biggest topics of the beta are cheating and skill-based matchmaking. So starting off with cheating, I personally didn't run into any cheaters. We did have to enable TPM and secure boot. we'll have to see how this carries over into full release. I did see a few clips of people cheating in the beta, but overall I didn't see much talking about that. The biggest thing was skill based. It will not matter that you guys added an open playlist with classic matchmaking where skill is minimally considered if it doesn't carry over into the full game. I speak for the entire Call of Duty community when I say it will not fucking matter if you do not put this in the full release of the game. It shouldn't even be a playlist, because all the good players are just going to go to the open playlist, and then the regular modes are just going to be where the skill base is actually lesser, because again, all the good average players are just going to the open playlist. It needs to be the standard matchmaking in Black Ops 7 for the full release. I don't want to be negative, but it's just true. Like, I'm glad that they did this. But again, how many times have we seen them say, due to our data, this is actually what the player base wanted? We've seen it so many times. They've over-delivered, they've over-promised and under-delivered. So, my final statement to Treyarch, to Activision, to Call of Duty: the make or break on this game will be the skill-based matchmaking. It really is. You know, I wanted to save it till the last very thing that I talked about. It's gonna be the make or break of this year. So if you guys stuck around till this point in the video, I appreciate you guys so much. It's almost been a 30-minute video at this point. If you guys enjoyed, at any point, leave a like. Anything I talked about, mentioned in this video, drop a comment, your thoughts, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether you hate me because I'm talking positive about COD, whether you hate me because I'm talking negative about COD. I welcome all of it down in the comments. So leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.